Welcome, folks. The LeVander podcast coming your way. Third initial installment. Talk to you about this NBA draft. Talk to you about this World Cup round of 16 coming your way Saturday. Let's get it. Then we're gonna talk about this NFL Top 100. Tom Brady, number one, 2 years in a row. Then finally, of course, NBA offseason. What can be better than that? NBA draft happened last Thursday. Phoenix Suns, of course, selected Arizona freshman dynamo monster DeAndre Ayton. Sacramento Kings selected Marvin Bagley out of Duke. Atlanta Hawks picked Luka Doncic. And as a surprise twist, they traded him to the Mavericks at number 5, who picked Trae Young. Hmm. Interesting swap because it was very unexpected and unprecedented, as everyone assumed and presumed that Trae Young would fall down to either the Knicks or the Cavs at 8 and 9 respectively, but he didn't. And it's an interesting switch that they'll have, especially for Atlanta. What happens to Dennis Schroeder? What happens? The Mavs, I guess you could say, they made a great pickup with Luka Doncic, and they'll have him and Dirk Nowitzki, and he can learn from a European legend in himself, a European great in Dirk himself. What's in store for him? Then the Mavs picked Jaren Jackson Jr., Mo Bamba to the Orlando Magic, Wendell Carter to Chicago Bulls, Colin Sexton to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Could he be the next Kyrie? I don't know. But possibly the two surprises of the late last two picks in the top 10. Kevin Knox going to the Knicks, and Mikal Bridges going to the 76ers. Now, it later comes to find out that the homegrown talent out of Villanova, who won a title in 2018 with the Villanova Wildcats, Mikal Bridges, was going to be a Philadelphia 76ers, but little did he know, once he was getting interviewed, he did get traded to the Phoenix Suns for Zaire Smith out of Texas Tech. It's kind of a buzzkill, but that's how the NBA goes. That's how the league is. But this top 10, I do kind of have a problem with it, because my only thing is this. I got to do it. I hope Kevin Knox shows up for the Knicks, because with the fact that Kristaps Porzingis will be out for the whole entire year, maybe come back in late March, maybe late April, whatever. But he has a lot of pressure put on him because of it's the Knicks. There's possibly nobody going to be there, and he's the number 9 pick in the draft. Zaire Smith couldn't have come into a better possible situation, because he's got Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, and Markelle Fultz, the number 1 pick, who didn't play much, if any, in his rookie campaign. So he comes in there and he can slide under the radar, play his role, be a defensive monster, hustle points and hustle rebounds. Colin Sexton, on the other hand, might have a big responsibility that we might not know of yet. Because if LeBron does happen to go back to Cleveland, who's to say that Colin Sexton might even be on the team still? And even if he is on the team, what can we expect from him? Because he's basically like could he be a poor man's De'Aaron Fox? I don't know, but I hope he's got the potential and the talent to do something in Cleveland without LeBron James. Because with him, I'm not so sure he'll be on the team. Wendell Carter Jr., 6'10", power forward, big guy, great post moves, dominant, had his time in Duke. He's a rook. He's got a long way to go in Chicago. If they get Jabari Parker in free agency, that might be an interesting team. Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn, Bobby Portis, Lauri Markkanen, Wendell Carter Jr., that team might be a little dangerous. Nah, ain't gonna be dangerous in the next 2-3 years, but down the road, when they all get of age and can remain healthy, that might be a dangerous young team to have in Chicago. I'm gonna say this: I didn't watch enough games when he played at Texas. I don't know what it is about me, but I'm not sold about Mo Bamba. To me, he seems like a poor man's Samuel Dallenberg or Dikembe Mutombo. Now, Dikembe's a Hall of Famer, but I don't think his. I just don't see it. Sorry, that's just me. I don't see it in Mo Bamba. I just don't. Jaren Jackson, yes, I think he's a dominant monster. I already told you about Doncic, and I think the biggest, I think the best pick of the top 10, honestly, might have been Sacramento getting Marvin Bagley because he's an athletic big. Put him with Willie Cauley Stein and Skal Labissiere and Costa Kufis if they keep him. Got a and Zach Randolph as well and Vince Carter. A nice group of vets with athletic bigs, hungry young players. Sacramento might be a little dangerous. I'm not saying they might do some things in the West because the West is full of monsters and beasts, but they might be a little dangerous. You know, they might get a couple teams surprised, a couple teams here and there in the early parts of the season. They might do a couple things. They might. Now my Lakers did get Mo Wagner out of Michigan. I do like the pick. He is kind of like a poor man's DeMarcus. I'm not saying he is going to be like him. Calm down, folks. I'm not saying all that. I'm just saying he's 6'10". He can shoot. He can get to the hoop. He got a post game, mid range. Hey, poor man's DeMarcus. I'll take it. I'll take it, especially if LeBron comes. I'll take it. I love it. Notable guys that did not get drafted, of course, LiAngelo Ball. Now it was said that the Lakers were going to take him, but it just so happens that the Lakers took the educated guess about what's going to happen. We don't want to take you because not because of your talent, but because what outside of the court, your father. And this is my only thing. I like LeVar. I'm a Triple B supporter, but I don't think LiAngelo was ready for the league. Granted, whatever happened in the LKO happened. You were supposed to dominate in that league. If you can't dominate in that league, I don't think you'll be good in this league, in the NBA, in this year coming up or as a rookie. No. You need a couple years in the G League, maybe, or go to a better league outside of Lithuania because I'm not seeing it. But hopefully, Jello gets picked up by a team. May not be the Lakers, may not play with his other brothers, but I just want to see him at least get a chance, as well as other players, but especially him, just so to prove the doubters wrong, but also for him to realize he's not as good as he seems. World Cup 2018 Russia, round of 16, the moment we've all been waiting for after an exciting group stage. We now have the final 16 teams that'll fight for the World Cup. And here they are right here. As you can see, those are the teams that are moving on to the round of 16. Here are the teams that are not moving on. With the surprise team of Germany, the 2014 World Cup champs, not making it out of the group stage, as well as 5 African teams that don't make it out of the group stage as well. As you can see of this World Cup round of 16 brackets, one side is heavily favored, full of favorites. Another, not so much, not too many favorites. Check it out. Round of 16 World Cup here. Let's go. We could have in this round of 16 some great, fantastic football that we have never seen before. Possibly the greatest World Cup in history with shocking surprises, surprising rising stars, and also old vets just showing their greatness. And it all starts today with Portugal and Uruguay going head up against each other, where we have Luis Suarez, Edison Cavani, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Pepe starting this round of 16. And then also the zest, the flair, the flash, the youth, the swag of the French national team going up against the GOAT, or one of the other GOATs, and Lionel Messi, and the Argentinian teams who fought and by the skin of their teeth in a fantastic goal by Marcos Rojo to saved them after their two embarrassing performances, basically one against Croatia and another against Iceland. Will we see another upset by this Argentinian team? And then also the five-time champs, Brazil, going up against L3. Could they make another big upset in these World Cups, with the first one being against Germany? Could they upset the five-time champs, the World Cup favorites? I'm excited. You're excited. Or, or, or could it be Belgium and the youth and the zest and the flair and the talent, possibly the best talent they've ever had as a country? Could they make it to the final and be considered one of the great teams in history? And could they live up to the youth and the talent that they got? And will we see the 2010 champs in their basically could be their final run as in the national team with Spain? And also, will Russia, the tournament host, will they get another upset? Will they shock us again? And also, will Croatia, with their huge spirited talent, and they're not shocking and not surprising, but they're five world-class players that they have on their team, will they live up to the test and get themselves to the final? Basically, having to get through just Spain, possibly as their only test through through the knockout round. And also, finally, England with their youth, or will it be Colombia or Sweden or Switzerland? I don't know, but I'm gonna tell you this. I do love where we're at right now. I'm loving this soccer. It's exciting. It's amazing. We're gonna have great matchups. We could have Lionel Messi, the GOAT, the LeBron James GOAT of soccer, going up against Cristiano Ronaldo, the Michael Jordan GOAT of soccer. Will we see these great, fantastic matchups? And also, we could see Romelu Lukaku going up against Neymar and Brazil and Belgium and Brazil going up against each other. Two favorites going up against each other in the next round of the knockout stage. Could we see these great, fantastic matchups that we would all love to see going up against each other? I'm excited. I'm excited to see this, but I'm gonna tell you this: my favorites now with these in this knockout stage is Brazil 1, Croatia 2, Belgium 3, France 4, Spain 5. And of those teams, I think the dark horse team to really, really look out for that nobody is talking about, well, they are talking about, is Croatia, led by Luka Modric, Mandzukic, Ivan Rakitic, and Rebic. Sorry, I'm not good with the names. But look out for Croatia. They are a dark horse team to win. They're one of my favorites to win. But as always, I'm going to always represent and I will always show out for Brazil, the five-time champs. We are favorited. I can't wait going up against L3. And all you Mexican fans out there, we are coming for you. Let's go. Round of 16, knockout stage. Cheer for your team, but definitely be excited about it. Watch it. This will be the greatest, possibly the best knockout stage we have ever seen in our lives. World Cup, Russia, 2018. NFL Top 100, the players voted amongst themselves who are the top 100 players right now going into next season of the NFL. I'm not going to go over all 100 players, but I will go over some notable players that did make the list in your top 100. And number 96 coming in is Malcolm Jenkins of the Philadelphia Super Bowl 52 champions, Philadelphia Eagles. And number 94, the newly Minnesota Vikings quarterback, with the first ever fully guaranteed contract. Impressive. At 94. Number 90, Jimmy G, the wonder kid who won 7 of his games that he started and has all of Niners fans with the high hopes of them making a run in the playoffs this year. They might be a threat in the NFC. 84, the often injured but still dynamic, still great J.J. Watt, and especially for what he's done for the city of Houston. Number 77, my favorite player, Odell Beckham Jr. At number 77, coming off a bad ankle injury, I'll take it. Best believe OBJ will be coming with a vengeance to rectify this 77 rank that he has. And number 71, the highest paid guaranteed contract for a guard in the NFL, possibly in the NFL history, Zach Martin of the Dallas Cowboys. Newly signed Rams at 61, Ndamukong Suh. Number 54, Ezekiel Elliott. Number 50, the rookie sensation that just happened to tear his ACL for the Houston Texans, quarterback Deshaun Watson. Number 47, Ryan Shazier, who had the nasty neck injury. I'm not going to go over that. If you've seen it, you'll know what I mean. Yeah, well deserved for him. And number 41, Keenan Allen of the Chargers. At number 41, the dynamic kick return, touchdown specialist, receiver, running back, whatever they do in Kansas City, Tyreek Hill. Number 36, Adam Thielen. Number 27, Larry Fitzgerald. Number 20, the rookie sensation for the New Orleans Saints, Alvin Kamara. And number 13, the great sensational receiver for the Houston Texans, DeAndre Hopkins. And number 11, Russell Wilson. Now, of these players, DeAndre Hopkins and Russell Wilson, those guys could be definite top 10 players in this league. But, it just so happens that they just didn't make the top 10, but they're still in contention. I feel either one could still be in contention for the top 10 players in the league right now. But I want to get back to something that boggled my mind when I had a conversation with somebody. So, as I said before, Adam Thielen was number 36 ranked amongst the players. Larry Fitzgerald was number 27. I had a conversation with someone, and they had the audacity to say that Adam Thielen is better than Larry Fitzgerald. And I looked at him and I said, "Are you crazy? This is Larry Fitzgerald we're talking about here. A future Hall of Famer that hasn't had a quarterback since, Kurt Warner." Granted, he had Carson Palmer, but that wasn't Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer hasn't been the same since he left since he got injured in the Cincinnati Bengals game against the Pittsburgh Steelers almost 10 years ago. That isn't Carson Palmer. But yet and still, this person that I'm not going to name names. They know who they are. But Adam Thielen, better than Larry Fitzgerald? With no quarterback, this man still puts up just as many yards, catches, and touchdowns as Adam Thielen did. And he did have a quarterback. Case Keenum is better than Carson Palmer was last year. And what else I'm going to say? Also, what I'm going to say is this. He's not even a top 10, 20 receiver. He's not. That's on a side note. It's for another day. And finally, the top 10 players in the NFL coming into next season are Aaron Rodgers at 10, Von Miller at 9, Drew Brees at number 8, Aaron Donald at 7, Todd Gurley 6, Le'Veon Bell at 5, Julio Jones 4, Carson Wentz 3, Antonio Brown 2, and for the second year in a row, at 40 years old, 5-time Super Bowl winning quarterback for the New England Patriots, Tom Brady. Now, how is it that Tom Brady, at 40 years old, who seems to be coming down this cliff, as some say, the number one player in the league for the second year in a row, ranked amongst his fellow NFL players? Can we just not defy him of his greatness? Can we just give him that? He might play to 45. He might be the first NFL player we see, or first NFL quarterback we see at the top of his game, still playing at 45, with no sights of Father Time per se catching up to him. But here's my top 10. I don't necessarily agree with the players, but my top 10 is a little different because, granted, as I said, I will give Tom Brady number one amongst the players, but to us people that really watch the game and see it from the outside looking in and not just accept someone's greatness, we see who's great in their own right. My top 10 goes as follows. At number 10, I have Drew Brees. Now, I was going to put Russell Wilson, but seeing how as Drew Brees at the age of 38, bringing his team into the playoffs, and Russell Wilson barely got his team to the playoffs, and they didn't even make the playoffs. I had to put Drew Brees. Can't deny him that. At the age that he is, still one of the most accurate quarterbacks ever in history. He has to be number 10. At number 9, I'm gonna go Aaron Rodgers. Only reason why he's at number 9 is because he had a collarbone injury, and even with the collarbone injury, you can see the Green Bay Packers without him are not the same team. They're not even a top team in the NFC, let alone a top team in their own division. And number 8, Von Miller, of course, one of the best sack artists in the league right now, for sure. And I had to put him there, but he's not the best defensive player in the league. At number 7, Le'Veon Bell, arguably one of the top 3 running backs in the game, maybe even top 2. There's no doubt about that. He can catch, he can run, he can block, what can't he do? Tell me. But there is a running back ahead of him. Number 6, I have Julio Jones. Not even a question. We're not even going to go through this. Top 2, top 3, 1, 2, 3, whatever you want to put him. One of the best in the game right now. Number 5, I got Antonio Brown. Same thing as Julio. 1, 2, 3. Wherever you want to put him. No order, no number is necessary for them. Those two. But Julio is the best big receiver in the league. Antonio Brown, the best small receiver in the league. 5'6", 6'5", doesn't matter. Numbers don't change with me. But the best running back that I have on my top 10 list coming into next season is Todd Gurley, ranked at number 4 for the LA Rams. Reason why is he had a bounce back season after a sophomore slump, the sophomore slump that every sophomore seems to have in the NFL. But he did show signs of his greatness, which he showed back in Georgia in his Georgia days, and we see his ever so dominant of speed, power, catching ability, and dynamic ability to take over games. And it showed basically this year when the Rams had a bounce back season and caught the whole entire league by surprise. At number 3, I have Tom Brady. Only reason why is because he is the GOAT, but he's not the best quarterback and the best player in the league, in my opinion. Tom Brady's great in his own right, but he does not have the same type of potential as these top 2 players. Tom Brady's 40 years old. These other 2 players are not even in their prime yet. They're about to be in their primes in the league, and they're one's in his going into his third year. The other one is going into his 4th year, and both are dominant. At number 2, I have the great, the young, the potential could have been MVP last year, but he tore his ACL in a game against the Rams. I have Carson Wentz. And the reason why is in his 2nd year in the league, he took the Philadelphia Eagles to the tops of the league and the NFC. By no one else's surprise, he is already a great player. And with that being said, Carson Wentz is on his way to being one of the dominant quarterbacks in this league in his 3rd year. He's already shown signs of his greatness with arm strength, big playability, stand in the pocket, take hits, get outside the pocket, make plays out of nothing. Carson Wentz is great in his own right, and he deserves to be the top number 2 on this list. At number 1, I have Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald. Yes, Aaron Donald, I believe, is the best player, the number 1 player in the NFL right now. He plays nose tackle. He plays DN. Wherever you need to put him on the D-line, the man is a dominant force. He requires at least 2 people to guard him. Even if he does have 2 people, still can't guard him. 3 people can't guard him. The man is a dominant force in the middle. Anybody who goes up against him must know they have to check with the line and the running backs to make sure they find out number 99 on the LA Rams. And I believe that Aaron Donald should get his money. And I hope he holds out for a long time to get his money because he deserves to get paid as the or one of the top players in the league right now. If not, he deserves to be the top paid defensive player in the league now. And that is my top 10 of the top 100. What is your top 10? Who do you got at number 1? With the NBA offseason in full swing, NBA free agency starts Sunday, July 1st at 12:05 a.m. Eastern Time, 9:05 Pacific. But we did have the NBA awards show this past Tuesday, and to no surprise, James Harden was our MVP. But to those LeBron James fans out there, I'm going to tell you something. LeBron James, suffices to say, did not deserve the MVP. Granted, he did play all 82 games. He did have more points than James Harden. He doubled him up in points. He doubled him up in rebounds and assists. Had more triple doubles, had more double doubles, and had more blocks and steals. But he did not have the best record in the Eastern Conference. He was the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference. Granted, he did get his team to the finals, but that is the weaker division. That is the weaker conference based on the 2 conferences, of course. He won 51 games, and he did get 6 players traded away from his team and had to start from anew after the trade deadline. James Harden 2 years ago, when Steph Curry was the unanimous MVP, averaged 30 points, 10 assists a game. Last year when Russell Westbrook won the MVP and averaged a triple-double, James Harden averaged 30 points a game, 10 assists. This year, while adding Chris Paul to his team, averaged the same amount of production with 30 points, 10 assists a game. James Harden deserved the MVP. Well deserved. You deserve it. But I will say this to you, LeBron James fans. LeBron James did not deserve it. You can go with all these points and all this stuff. James Harden won 65 games, a Houston Rockets record in the regular season. Well deserved, James Harden. But he did say something during the award show that I did not like. He had the audacity to say that they don't need to add anybody, they don't need to make any changes, bring the same group back, and let's do this run again. Sorry. You got to the Western Conference Finals, Game 7, and you lost to the Warriors. You went 1 for 27 from 3 in Game 7 alone. You want to bring the same group back? You want to bring an often injured Chris Paul back again for another year? For the 3rd straight year in a row, Chris Paul has not been able to stay healthy throughout a full season. Let alone when he gets to playoffs, something happens. Either it's a hamstring or it's a finger or something. Something is going to falter within Chris Paul's body, and he will not be able to last throughout the playoffs. And you think the Warriors are not going to improve their roster? You think the Warriors are just going to stay complacent? And you still think you have a chance? James. When I did have hope for you, granted you did deserve the MVP, then you want to say you don't want to change anything, don't want to add anybody? I'm sorry, do you not think that a Paul George to your team would benefit you? Or let alone a LeBron James? You don't think LeBron James would help you in your efforts to dethrone the Warriors by creating your own super team? Your own Big Four with yourself, Clint Capella, Chris Paul, and LeBron James? You don't think that would help? That it won't get you over the hump? You can't depend on Chris Paul all the time. And if you do depend on Chris Paul, how long do you think he will last? And if he does last, will you tire out again? Do you have enough? Will you have enough teammates to help you, to help support you while you try to dethrone the Warriors? Speaking of the Warriors, Steph Curry might have thrown a little troll to the OKC Thunder general manager Sam Presti, who did draft James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Kevin Durant, all MVP players, all who are on the Oklahoma City Thunder in the 2012 season when they went to the finals. After that season, they never played together again, unless it was that All-Star game. Steph did say, does Sam Presti deserve a trophy too for having 3 MVP players on one team at such a young age? Troll? Or can this get any better than we expected with the NBA with trolls? But besides the point, I do want to say this. Steph Curry, I like it. Winning another title, throwing a little shade at the Thunder, while also throwing a little shade at James Harden, Russell Westbrook, because you got another MVP in KD. Those two obviously aren't going to win any titles, but KD, he has 2 so far. The other 2, Russell and James, don't have any. Touche. Touche, Steph. Touche. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Rudy Gobert, well deserved. The Stifle Tower had a great year, led the league in blocks. Most Improved Player, well deserved again to another player who jumped his average from 15.4 points to 23 points a game with Victor Oladipo and the Indiana Pacers. When an impressive 7-game series, although it didn't come out the way they expected, they did fight to the end, and they did have LeBron James on the brink of elimination in the first round of the playoffs for the first time. Sixth Man of the Year does go to Lou Williams, well deserved, because he did come off the bench and he was the spark plug the Clippers needed during the regular season. Head coach, head coach was Dwayne Casey, formerly of the Toronto Raptors after getting swept by them and also getting fired, but then again getting hired by the Detroit Pistons. A little bit awkward, a little bit of shade thrown at him. You have the coach of the year, and he gets hired by another team in the Eastern Conference right away. And the often debated, often fought over Rookie of the Year. This year's candidates were Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, or Ben Simmons. Jason Tatum had a great year, but he shined a little bit more in the playoffs than the other two. But this is a regular season award, so let's put Jason Tatum to the side. We have Ben Simmons here and Donovan Mitchell. Run rookie, star point guard, 6'10", start of the process. Another, a rising star, the leading scorer as a rookie for the Utah Jazz, the 5th seed in the Western Conference. Who would you pick as your Rookie of the Year? To me, I think they should have had co-rookies of the year, because both players were the stars of their team. Both players brought their teams to the playoffs, and both players deserved it. Battled hard as rookies and became rising stars of the league. But as the award show goes, Ben Simmons was Rookie of the Year. Well deserved for him. And as it goes, this is the start of LeBron week. The moment we've all been waiting for. Will LeBron James opt out of his contract June 29th? And in essence, LeBron James did opt out of his contract on June 29th, which has started a domino effect that we all like to see. And earlier in the week, it was apparent that he did text KD about joining him in LA. Is this true? Could it be true? Hey, if it is, it's a great thing for the Lakers. If it's not, then it's just rumors. And as rumors goes, you never know what can be true, what can be false when you hear rumors. And even if he did text KD, it's none of our business. It's okay. And whether or not Kawhi is traded to LA or not, I don't think it'll make a big difference with bringing LeBron James or not, because I think he's coming to LA already. But with the announcement of Kawhi already on the Lakers, I think it's a no-brainer for LeBron to come to LA already. Billboards for Paul George to LA, basically saying PG to LA. A message to that season ticket holder: don't do that. Why? We don't want Paul George. We want LeBron James. Paul George got blasted by a rookie in the playoffs. by letting him score 30. And Paul George, your answer to his 30 is 5 points in an elimination game. That's the best you can do for me. That's what we're gonna give a player $30 million for, a max contract for, someone who doesn't show up in the playoffs, someone who lets a rookie go berserk on them in the playoffs. To that season ticket holder, you just wasted your money. I'm sorry. There is no PG2 LA. I don't care if he opts out of his contract. No, I don't want Paul George. I want Boogie Cousins. With that being said, Boogie Cousins, LeBron James, coming to LA can alter the balance of power in the Western Conference and bring it back to the real champions, the 16-time champions, the Los Angeles Lakers. And with that added pressure, it is in the hands of Magic Johnson, who did say earlier in the week that he did give himself 2 years, this year and next year, to get a free agent, a top free agent in LA. If he doesn't do his job, he'll step down. Please, Magic, don't do that. Now, we love you. You are LA. You're one of the legends of LA. But if you step down, I love Rob Pelinka, but who is the man to bring the stars to LA? Who is that guy? Who is that figure? Who is the one to lead them as you were led by the great Jerry West? Who is that man to do that for all of Los Angeles Laker fans? You are that man. You will have a top free agent, but please don't step down. Please do not step down. And earlier in this week, the first moves of the offseason have started with free agency by the Clippers trading away Austin Rivers to the Washington Wizards, which essentially for Marcin Gortat, which essentially basically starts the way for DeAndre Jordan leaving the LA Clippers and going on to wherever he wants to go. Now, as I talked about in an earlier podcast, hypothetical of him joining the Warriors, creating another, well, becoming a very, very good team for a very, very long time by adding another very good piece to their already amazing, talented team. But it seems that Jordan might opt into his contract in order to do the same thing that Chris Paul did last year by facilitating a trade in order to help the team by preserving himself to get another 1-year max deal when he becomes a free agent for next year. Speaking of trades, Kawhi Leonard and the San Antonio Spurs. It almost seems that the relationship between the Spurs and Kawhi have all but withered to basically nothing. And the talks of the Spurs not wanting to give Kawhi to the West aren't necessarily true, but they're not against trading him to the Western Conference. And the potential suitors for him, the best suitors for him that can make a deal for him are the Philadelphia 76ers, the Boston Celtics, the LA Clippers, and the LA Lakers. The Lakers and Spurs initially had talks, but the talks basically went dry when the Spurs wanted the Lakers to give up a first round pick and possibly Brandon Ingram or Kyle Kuzma or Lonzo Ball, one of the three or two of the three for Kawhi Leonard. But it seems that Boston has the most assets to give San Antonio for Kawhi Leonard, but it doesn't seem that they want to give away those assets for Kawhi Leonard, who may be a rental for 1 year and still just want to go back to the Lakers. And Message of the day, folks, is basically take risks. Don't be afraid to take risks. Don't be afraid to move out of your parents' house or find your career job or take a chance on a job, go to college another year, or go get your master's degree, move across the country just to find something new, find yourself, or travel the world just to see new things. Don't be afraid to take risks. Taking risks can help you in the long run. Even if you fail at these risks, it's a lesson learned and it shows how you can succeed in life. But don't be afraid to take risks. Everybody has the chance and opportunity to take risks, and sometimes risks might some risks might not be there again at another time. And it's always beneficial to always see that you can take risks and not live with the consequences and just live life. You only have one to live. What risk and chances are you going to take leap of faith and, you know, just go for it. Fight for what you believe is right. And my show of the day is this. Imagine if you can go back in time to the Wild Wild West and you can grab your pistol, go in a standoff with another guy while he holds a pistol and you hold a pistol. Whoever holds their pistol out first and pew, shoot. Or you can live out the fantasies of being a sheriff, experiencing how it was in the Wild West. This is Westworld. In this show, it shows how these people are, as hosts or guests, how they come into from the real world to this West world, and they live out their fantasies and what they wanted to do in the West back in the day. But then it seems that these robots or these AIs, they start to think of their own. They start to have these connections and see memories and start to think like humans. But then the person that created them also gave them cognitive decisions and consciousness and all these type of feelings that they never had before. And they talk about it and they they start to think and talk amongst each other, and they have feelings. They want to be human, but they don't know what it feels like to be human because they aren't human. But then they start to revolt because they want to break free from the human beings. They don't want to be chained down and just do whatever they are told to do based on what humans have control over them. They want to be free. And the only way to break free is to fight back. And while fighting back, they question their own existence. They question themselves. They question why and what were they made here for? What is their purpose? And the purpose of them is to live. Not just live as AIs and, entertain the living hosts or the guests from the real world, but they are supposed to be out in the real world and experience it like we do. Have feelings, have loved ones that they should have, the memories that were implanted in their heads. How did that affect them? So go check out Westworld on HBO on demand. Season just ended. It's 2 good seasons. Enjoy. Get back to me. Lastly, I do want to thank you for listening to this podcast. It's the LeVander Brown podcast. If you want to add any comments, want to be on, you can add me on my social medias here, as you see here below. You can add me on my Facebook, my Twitter, my Snapchat, anything. Welcome and guests. Thank you again for listening to the LeVander Brown podcast.